Hello, my name is Jesse, and welcome to Pick Up the podcast where I talk about anything. That's about it, literally anything. I'll have people on here every once in a while, but for the most part, it's just going to be me. Today we have a Slipknot timeline for our first episode. So I have like a whole presentation up for this. So let's get started. We've got the first slide as the Slipknot demo album, MFKR, also known as Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. Sorry, stuttering. Oh my gosh. So we have late 1994 with Sean Cray, a welder in Des Moines, Iowa, living, a very bored life, as every American does, with the career that they pick. Was a drummer that was into the metal music that existed at the time. Korn, Slayer, Cannibal Corpse, Metallica, all this good stuff. Created the Pale Ones with vocalist Anders Colsafini and bassist Paul Gray. Later in 1995, thrash drummer Joey Jordison joins, putting Sean on percussion. Now when we say percussion, we're talking like, I don't know if you've heard of a cannon drum, but it's usually like 2 or 3 cannon drums that they have, or sometimes 4, and then they'll have like a keg attached to it, and they'll hit the keg with a baseball bat, or sometimes just the drumsticks, and then use the drumsticks or mallets on the cannon drums. That's what we mean when we say percussion. Craig Jones joins as the new lead guitar and invites rhythm guitarist Josh Brainerd. The lineup now being Andrew, Sean, Paul, Joey, Craig, and Josh. Later in 95, so we're talking like even later, probably like November, I'd say, Mick Thompson joins as lead guitar and Craig moves to sample/keyboard. And this is like that really famous picture that you'll see of all of them kind of in like that YouTube video kind of proportioned picture. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you look up early MFKR Slipknot, you'll probably find it. So later, all going by the name Slipknot after a demo song and then wearing masks to blend in with the music, as it said later in interviews when they release the self-titled album and all that. They make their demo album Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat with songs like Slipknot, Tattered and Torn, Only One, and Gently. Now it's ironic that I added all of these as the example songs, because these all get remastered into self-titled in Iowa. And I can't show the MFKR picture up on here, but it's on the presentation. So we have the debut album Crows in 1997 with reissued. It's the reissued version of Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat as Crows, with the new lineup being Sid, a DJ that joined, or Sydney Wilson, DJ that joined late 1996 during a show. So it would be Sid, Joey, Paul Gray, Greg Welts, who comes in as secondary percussion after Anders Colsafini is moved to percussion after Corey Taylor joins. And then Anders leaves because he doesn't like not being lead vocal. So then Greg Welts joins. So it's Sid, Joey, Paul, Greg, Josh, Craig, Sean, also known as Clown now. So Sean, Clown, Crayon, Mick Thompson, and Corey Taylor, spending $40,000 on self-album production. Releasing reissues of songs from Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, and releasing the new songs such as The Me Inside, Spit It Out, Windows Carve, and Heartache of a Pair of Scissors. Now, some of these do make it into the self-titled album. 3 of them do. 2 of them don't, from the examples that I just listed, but you'll hear some of the examples when I get to the self-titled album. They don't make much money from this, and they stay local to Des Moines, and they have a goal of being the biggest band in the world, and it's so far from their reach. So Slipknot on the self-titled re-debut album in early 1999, they go on tour with Ozfest while making their re-debut album, with new members Chris Fenn on percussion after Greg Welts leaves, and James Root rhythm guitar after Josh Brainerd leaves for not liking some of the decisions the band made. So leaving the new lineup to be Sid, Joey, Paul, Chris, James, Craig, Clown, Mick, and Corey. Later releasing their self-titled album Slipknot with new songs that weren't on Crows, such as Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, Liberate, and No Life, along with reissues of songs such as Spit It Out, Only One, Scissors, Diluted, and Sick. Sick comes from the demo song Slipknot. The album had a starting sound effects that was named with the same barcode numbers on the first ever sold copy of Mate Feed Killer Pete. And that would be called 742617000027 is that starting song / sound effects thing at the beginning of the album. Also, songs Frail and Nursery, which is the sound effects before Purity, were taken off of the album due to a copyright lawsuit. Now, I know that sounds strange, but the way the song was originally called Despise, the main song Purity, originally called Despise, was changed into Purity after Corey Taylor read what he thought was a true story in like a local Des Moines paper based on a girl named Purity Knight that was buried alive. But no, it happened to be like a made-up story by some guy, and then he got a copyright lawsuit. And it was replaced by the song Me Inside, which is a reissue of the Me Inside from Crows, until 2009, when the 10th anniversary edition of Self-Titled put Purity back on there. Not Frail and Nursery, though, it was only Purity. But they do play Frail and Nursery sometimes before Purity now, so that's nice. Hidden songs such as Mudslide were hidden between Only One and Scissors on vinyls. Also on vinyls, hidden track Igor was put after the final track Scissors by listening to 10 minutes of silence and band members talking. Igor was soon put on the original album on CD and digitally. Scrap song Get This was from the 10th anniversary edition. The album would soon go triple platinum as of 2005. Now we have the Slipknot album Iowa. As of late 2000 going into 2001, Slipknot would once again tour with Ozfest, fame hitting the 9 of them very hard, and their goal of being big was closer, but it was hitting them very hard. They were not doing so good. One of the biggest bands in the US, and they were making a highly anticipated sophomore album. The fans asked for something that would be mainstream, go on the radio. Slipknot did the exact opposite. August 2001, they made Iowa, their heaviest album to this day, with songs like Disaster Piece, Metabolic, Gently, and Left Behind. Gently and Left Behind came off of Crows. Well, Gently came from Made Feed Killer Pete, and then Left Behind came off of Crows as Lust Disease. The band members did not have the best relationships with each other at the time, mainly because of alcoholism and substance abuse. Vocalist Corey Taylor committed self-harm to himself during the recordings of the self-titled track Iowa, a 15-minute song about the struggles of love. Song My Plague was remixed as My Plague New Abuse Mix to be put into the Resident Evil movie soundtrack. Slipknot and the Subliminal Verses album. In mid-2003, the band comes together in the famous Houdini's mansion to record their third album, although the recording process never started until 3 months after they got together because of parties and alcohol and drugs. But eventually, after the sobriety kicks into their system, especially into Corey Taylor after almost taking his life because of it, they finally started recording. This is their most experimental album, released in 2004, is Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, with songs like Duality, The Nameless, Danger, Keep Away, 3-0, and Vermilion. The album was also the first of their albums to include acoustic guitars and songs like Vermilion Part 2 and Circle. The song Vermilion was also remixed to be put on the second Resident Evil movie soundtrack. That song was also put in the special edition of the album in 2005, along with demos, Danger, Keep Away, and scrap songs such as Scream and Don't Get Close. Slipknot and the album All Hope Is Gone. In late 2007, Slipknot gets together again to record their fourth album. Corey brings back his lower-pitched vocals, and they bring back their heavy sound from Iowa. This is the last album with bassist Paul Gray, as he dies from an overdose of fentanyl and morphine in his apartment in 2010. This is also the last album with drummer Joey Jordison, as he is fired from the band due to a condition in his legs that made it hard to play the drums in 2013. 2008, the band released their fourth album, All Hope Is Gone, with tracks such as Sulfur, Psychosocial, Gematria, The Killing Name, The Child of Burning Time, and Dead Memories. It also includes some more slower songs such as Snuff, Till We Die, and Vermilion Part 2 Bloodstone Mix on the special edition of the album, which was featured in the movie Underworld Evolution. Slipknot and the Antennas to Hell collection album was 2010 to 2013. It was Slipknot's Antennas to Hell tour in memory of Paul Gray, a collection album released in songs from Self-Titled through All Hope Is Gone. 19 tracks, including mixes of songs such as My Plague, Vermilion, Dead Memories, and Snuff. This era was when Joey was fired, and new drummer Jay Weinberg was introduced, along with a new bassist, Alessandro Alex Ventrula. And the the production of their fifth album had started. This is also when Slipknot opened their very own metal tours known as Knotfest. You can watch the entire first Knotfest concert that was in 2012. I think it was in Minnesota. I may be wrong, but it's pretty good. Slipknot and the Grey Chapter album, mid-2013. The production of their fifth album is in production. Why did I repeat that twice? In 2013, their fifth album was in production with drummer Jay and bassist Alex. They start their Grey Chapter tour. The name The Grey Chapter is after the passing of Paul Gray. Late 2014, Slipknot releases Chapter 5, The Grey Chapter, with songs like The Negative One, XIX, Devil and I, and Custer, with hidden tracks Silent, Talk, and Funny. The song Silent is 2 minutes of silence dedicated to Paul Gray. The special edition has two tracks, including Override and The Burden. This is the last studio album with percussionist Chris Fenn, as he is fired due to a lawsuit against the band for saying that they were dealing money under the table, mostly from Corey and Clown. Later on Halloween of 2018, I know that's a big time jump, but I thought I'd put it on the slide instead of the next one. But later on Halloween of 2018, they release hit and only single that isn't on an album, All Out Life, including new percussionist Michael Pfaff, also known as the Tortilla Man, for his mask. Slipknot and the We Are Not Your Kind album. Late 2018, they started the production of their sixth album, named it after the lyrics and the breakdown of All Out Life. The first album to feature percussion. I'm dying today. The first album to feature percussionist Michael Pfaff, We Are Not Your Kind, is released in 2019 with songs such as Nero Forte, Unsainted, Soleil Firth, and Red Flag. There are no hidden songs on this album, and this one did the best commercially, and it is the second time that Slipknot went on live with Jimmy Kimmel with their song Unsainted, after they did it in 2004 with the Blister Exists and Duality, and almost were never allowed to come back on. Slipknot and the End So Far album. Ex-drummer Joey Jordison dies for an unknown reasons in 2021, and this album is dedicated to him. They started their End So Far tour in 2021 and release songs before the album comes out, such as the Chapeltown Rag and I Want to Say Adderall. And soon their seventh studio album, The End So Far, is released in 2022 with songs like The Dying Song, Adderall, Yen, and the Chapeltown Rag. They named the album after the 7 album deal they had with Roadrunner Records, who signed them back in 1998. This is the last album to feature Jay Weinberg after he was fired for unknown reasons to this day, and samplist Craig Jones, who disappeared one day randomly in 2023. About the Jay Weinberg thing, he went on an interview with a guy, I want to say a month or two ago, saying that he thinks he was fired just because he was like a scapegoat to them after Joey had been fired, and after, it's kind of like the Jason Newsted thing in Metallica, where Jason joined and everybody bullied him because they didn't know how to take out their anger on a Cliff Burton dying. It was kind of the same thing with Jay Weinberg, I want to say, which that sucks because Jay Weinberg is an amazing drummer. He played in Suicidal Tendencies and Madball. And he was an amazing drummer, but I just wanted to follow up on that with what I heard. Alright. The self-titled 25th Anniversary Tour in September of 2024. The 25th Anniversary edition of Self-Titled was released with demos of old songs, new mixes, and an entire box set. They also started touring with drummer Eloy Casagrande, which is said to be on this next album, and new sampler Jeff Wachowski, who was originally just noted as the new guy before he finally released his name. And they brought back the song Scissors onto their set list, finally, after 25 years. In April 2026, Slipknot released experimental side album Look Outside Your Window, made back in 2009 by Sean, James, Sid, Corey, and Joey. Only on vinyl for now, with songs like Moth, Juliet, Away, and March 11th. I still haven't listened to this album fully yet. I probably should. Now, as of what's next, rhythm guitarist James Root said he is excited to make this next album with skilled drummer Eloy. He says it's also in production as of right now, and there are there are over 50 pieces of new music to work with, and a new producer, with a new producer, I don't remember his name. Sophomore album, Iowa, turns 25 years old as of August 2026, so that's very soon. There should be a new box set for the 25th anniversary edition, along with a 25th anniversary tour, which is going to be crazy, because that means they're going to bring back so many old songs from their set list. And they're also going to like do a show where they play like the entire set list, like the entire album, and I'm very excited to see what that's going to be like. That is all I have for this presentation. I also want to talk about the Sid Wilson case that is going on right now, and I just got to look it up real quick because I didn't write that down. It's been going, it's insane. I don't know what is going on. I've seen it all over social media recently. It says Slipknot officially cut ties with longtime turntablist and keyboardist Sid Wilson, number 0, releasing and then quickly deleting a statement on August 14th, 2026 that read, effective immediately, Slipknot will no longer be associated with Sid Wilson. The split follows initial reports from TMZ that Wilson was fired after 28 years due to tensions over how he treated his bandmates. Now, the initial reports was July 31st of 2026 when TMZ had reported that Wilson had been permanently kicked out of Slipknot following behind-the-scenes frictions with other band members. The band confirmation with a group posted a brief 28-word confirmation on social media before taking it down shortly after, a cleanup method they had frequently used for major lineup changes. The statement remained visible on the official Knotfest channels, which I saw earlier today. Reasoning. Now, neither the band nor Wilson provided an official explanation for the termination. Those sources cited mounting frustration over in interpersonal dynamics within the group, which I think is crazy personally, just because back in like the self-titled era, they were beating each other down and setting each other on fire. And I don't know, man. Some other surrounding context says that personal developments. The departure coincides with turbulence in Wilson's personal life, including a split from Kelly Osbourne, the daughter of Ozzy Osbourne, who posted cryptic statements online urging accountability following the news. Recent lineup turmoil, Wilson's exit caused a string of high-profile departures and dismissal from the band in recent years, including Chris Fenn in 2019, Craig Jones in 2023, and Jay Weinberg in 2023. Now, I know that there's some other stuff that I can put on here as well. Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, on August 12th, Wilson introduced himself as number 0 from the world-famous Slipknot at the inaugural World Scratch Invitational at in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where he served as a co-host for the event. Wilson joined Slipknot in 1998 as the group's turntablist and became known as number 0. He appeared on all 7 of Slipknot's studio albums from 1999 through Slipknot's 2022, The End So Far. He was even one of the 4 members that partook in their late 2000 side project, Look Outside Your Window, which was just released earlier this year in 2026. Now, I'm not sure what this is going to mean for the next album. As I just mentioned, it's in production literally right now. But, so as of who is going to be the next turntablist, I'm sure is going to have some humongous shoes to fill. Also, probably will not release their name until a year after joining the band, like, everybody else has. But, I'm not sure what this is going to mean. Hopefully, I know the music is not going to sound the same as back in like 1999, or in 2001, because Slipknot has changed a lot over these past 27 years. I haven't been alive for that long, but I know that much from the research I've been digging into. As some other stuff we can look into is what I was talking about earlier, is the Jay Weinberg interview. So I'll just... It says, former Slipknot drummer Jay Weinberg reflected on his abrupt 2023 firing in April 2026 interview with Rolling Stone. Stating that he was blindsided by the decision, he noted that as a newcomer caught in long-standing pre-existing internal tensions among the other members, maybe I became a scapegoat for certain things. The context of the departure, the firing, I'm just not going to record ever again. Weinberg received a phone call in 2023 in November informing that his contract would not be renewed, ending his 10-year tenure with the band. I'm struggling today. Pre-existing tensions, he described navigating a dynamic where different band members wanted things done in conflicting ways, leaving him caught in the crossfire. Lack of closure, Weinberg expressed that his sudden separation without detailed explanation remains confusing, though he harbors no bitterness since he has moved on to other musical projects. He also did say, I forgot to mention this earlier, but he did mention that he had been struggling with some things in his legs, kind of like how Joey Jordison was before he was fired, and made some kind of decision about the touring. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember they had to cancel a few shows for his stuff in his legs. But that's all I remember as of now. I'm not sure when this band is just going to be Corey Taylor and the Clowns, because they're literally firing everybody. The joke "all band is gone" is going around social media so much right now. But for what this means for the band, I am not sure. I just know that this is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, that is the first episode today. Not exactly sure what else to talk about. It is a crisp 5:30 in the afternoon. Excuse me. And so yeah, that's it for today's episode. I should record sometime next week, probably. Excuse me, I might have somebody with me too, and I should have a new topic to talk about. But yeah, that's it for this episode.